All right. So Hamilton asked me if I would talk a little bit about the solitude of self-actualization. And first of all, thank you, Hamilton, for requesting that. This is the first request I've ever had, and it's awesome. I just hope that I can give you something that is helpful. And to be honest, the subject that you've chosen to talk about, it's a very interesting subject, but it's also a very large subject. I would say that the solitude of self-actualization, or maybe more accurately, just solitude, is one of the biggest things you can deal with as a conscious being. It's one of the big facets that you have to come to grips with when it comes to becoming a human adult. You see, the reason I say solitude in general, not so much solitude of self-actualization, is that the first thing I would say when it comes to this whole discussion or looking at this subject is that solitude is the starting point of what you are. I think it's in fact one of the aspects of your being that makes it so interesting, right? You are a single thing. You are separated from other things. And even though most people might not realize it, solitude is the starting point of your experience. Now, a lot of people in today's society have a lot of ways to forget that or to kind of divert themselves from that realization, right? They have a lot of friends, they watch TV or they read or go on the internet, whatever. And if they're interacting with the world, they don't have any mental capacity left to realize that, in fact, all they know is this inside universe where they're always alone. And so the first thing I would say is to realize that loneliness or solitude is what comes with the territory of being a conscious being. And the more conscious you are, the more solitude you will experience in a way. Because, in Superman, he has this, what's it called? The fortress of solitude, right? He has this thing that I just watched the old movies. He throws it into the ice somewhere in the Arctic, and this fortress pops up, and that's where he lives, right? If he needs time off, if he can't deal with humanity as it is, he just goes to his fortress of solitude and he thinks over, life and whatever. And I like that idea, especially because it's to me, we are all a fortress of solitude, right? You are a fortress of solitude. I am a fortress of solitude. Within myself, there is only me. And the moment I stop talking to someone else or the moment I disengage from the world, hey, I'm there. I'm in the Arctic. I'm in the fortress of solitude, and all I have is myself. So I think what a lot of people don't realize is that solitude is what you are or what you have with you forever. And I think, it's some of the things that not realizing that also causes problems, because now, I find a partner, or I find a friend, and then all of a sudden I make him responsible or her responsible for my not feeling lonely, right? For me not feeling lonely, that's his responsibility. So when my friends go on vacation, I have trouble. So that's in general. Now more specific, I think what you're alluding to, this journey that you're probably on, brings with it even more solitude, and that's true, right? And that's why I kind of realized that this is a practical question. You don't think this up just in theory, like, well, I want to self-actualize, and that's something we should look at maybe in a separate movie as well, is like, what is self-actualization? And maybe good to know is that when I look at self-actualization, I'm not talking about becoming who you are, but coming to grips with what you are, and what you are entails solitude, right? For me personally, a long time ago, I came to the realization that I am alone and I'm going to die. And that is a truth that I have to deal with. I have to accept it. I don't have to try to make it go away. I shouldn't make a story that makes it not true, right? Or that makes me feel good about it. Like, well, I might be alone and I might die, but then I'll go to heaven. No, I realize that for me, in order to deal with life in a proper way and in a good way, and to be human, to be an adult about it, I gotta accept this. I have to accept the fact that I am alone and I'm going to die, right? It has to give me strength. It has to propel me, perhaps. It has to give me context. That's the whole point of the thing, right? And a lot of people are spending a lot of their time to ignore or forget that fact. And so here you are saying, you know what? I want to live a real life. I want to confront the real demons that are there, right? I want to be an adult. I want to have control over this thing that I am, or at least understand if I can have control. And now you're doing this, and all of a sudden you're realizing I'm pretty lonely in this whole thing, right? Well, that, apart from the fact that we're all lonely in a way, it's the essence. It's an attribute or an essential part of what we are. I would say that there's two factors that also make it lonely for you to self-actualize. You see, the first thing is you're self-actualizing. That's kind of, you're focusing on yourself or on the self, whatever way you want to look at it. But inherent to that is the fact that you're doing that by yourself. You can't, find friends and go self-actualize together in a way, right? It's a journey you got to do by yourself. It's inherent to the whole thing. You can't externalize that. You can't say to your school or to your parents or to your friends, like, you need to actualize me. You have to actualize yourself. So inherent to that is the fact that you got to do that by yourself, and that feels lonely. But even more than that, I would say the reason that you're feeling lonely is because you're doing something that a lot of people aren't doing. Now, I think that's changing. I think the internet is changing that. It sure helped me in my journey, even though that started before the internet. But you're doing something that, in essence, is separating you from the mass of men, right? The mass of men, is that how you say it? The mass of men? The mess of men. The mess is more funny, but I think it's the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. It's a quote by someone. And I think this is tied into that as well. But most mass of men spend their time pretending or ignoring the fact that they're lonely, or maybe pretending or ignoring the fact that they also should go to work on themselves, right? So they're pretending they don't need to, or they're ignoring the fact that they need to. They're distracting themselves. You're not doing that, which means you're facing this demon. You're facing this demon that tells you you are alone, and perhaps you are going to die. But this is the truth of life, because no matter who you find to connect with, or whoever you talk to, once, what I always realize, once I'm in bed and the light goes out, it's just me and my thoughts. So even if I manage to fill up my entire day with distraction, with other people, with watching TV, with doing whatever, there will come a time in the day that it all stops and I'm confronted with my own thoughts, and I'm confronted with the fact that only I live inside this thing, even though I would say there's multiple personalities within this space, and I would reckon that goes for everyone. So you're not that lonely in a way, but I understand what you're saying is that this journey feels very lonely. And I would say that the essence below it is because you're now for the first time perhaps in your life facing this reality you have to deal with. It's something you had to deal with, right? And that's what happens to a lot of people. They think they don't have to deal with it, and then all of a sudden something happens in their life and the whole bottom falls out, and then they're depressed, or they're in this huge issue because it hit them. I'm alone and I'm going to die, and this has been the truth for my whole life, and I've been pretending that it's not so, and I'm wasting my, right? This is the thing. So I think that's the reason you're feeling it. I think it's natural, and I'm not here to tell you to deny it or to put something on your on your wounds to soften the pain. It's something you got to accept. It's something you got to go through, right? So solitude is something you got to be very comfortable with, because it's who you are. It's part of what you are, right? So there's no denying that, unless you want to deny yourself. Now, there is something I want to share about the good side of this whole thing, because like I said, I think it's one of the big things, right? Accepting loneliness and accepting death are two of the main points that come with becoming a human adult, I would say. But once you do that, and once you go through that, there is actually a prize on the other side. And, I hate to say that, because I really don't like people taking this journey for prizes, because the journey is the thing that we need to go through, and the rewards are not something we can or we should focus on. But what I found in my own process is that now that I've done a lot of thinking and a lot of working on myself, I am actually way better at connecting with other people. You see, first of all, because I've gone through this process and I've grown up and I've come to grips with what I am and what it means to be a human consciousness, I've also been able to really turn down the influence of ego on my behavior and action, right? So there's not a lot of friction in my interaction with other people. I don't judge other people. I have nothing to protect. So I can be very open when it comes to connecting with other people. And what I found is that because I feel or realize that I have very few to lose, there's nothing to lose for me in interacting with you, I can just be open. I can be vulnerable. And I use that, right? So when I connect with other people, one of the things I try to do very quickly is to show them, look, I'm open, I'm vulnerable. If you want to take advantage of me or you want to hurt me or whatever you think you can do, take your best shot. It's okay. I'm fine with that. And I'm not even there sitting, all arrogant saying, you can't hurt me. It's more that I'm showing them that they could hurt me if they want. Now, whether or not they will have result is a different question, but the point I'm trying to make is that makes it very easy for people to really connect with you because they feel that you're coming from within. They understand that you're being true about what you're portraying. And because I understand a lot of the journey and of the challenges of being a human consciousness, I also don't judge other people most of the time, right? So when people say something that other people might find offensive, or if they're worried about the situation they're in and if I want to help them or not, it doesn't matter to me, okay? I've made mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes. We all have. It's not about not making mistakes. It's about how you deal with mistakes. That is what helps you develop. And so judgment, I try to really let people know that I'm okay with whatever. I think we should look at what's going on now, what it is you want to do, and see how we can get you there. That is where I focus. So, having looked at myself so closely and come to grips with a few of these issues, it has enabled me to be a better person, to be a better connector, to be more valuable for other people to connect to, right? And I think that is the basis for a lot of things that we're missing, is that we're looking to other people in a lot of ways with our relationships and our friendships and our whatever, that they should fix something for us. And what we often don't realize is that they have the same issues as we do. So they're not capable of fixing that. And I think, relationships should be built not on a need for each other, but on a value added thing, right? If we are both people that can live our own lives and that are perfectly fine operating by ourselves, because we have accepted the fact that that is the true state of a human being, then if we do find reasons to connect, we can go for the win-win, because there's nothing that we need. There's no friction that we need to need to deal with, because there is no friction. There's nothing there to have that friction, and then we can pretend business is important, and we can talk about that, and we can have friction there because we know there's no personal friction there, right? So I would say, if you go through this and you manage to deal with this, which you should, because it's something you're going to have to deal with eventually, especially now that you're aware of it, it's never going to go away. But if you manage to deal with that, or even in the journey of dealing with that, you will find that you will become a better person for connecting with other people. You have more to offer, you have less negativity in this whole process, and you will have more ability to be open and honest and a cool person to connect with. So go through the pain, accept it, deal with it. You have to come to grips with the fact that you are alone and you are going to die. I am sorry if that is not what you wanted to hear, but it's the only thing I have to offer in that regard. And I think that if you do that, and if you find other people that do that as well, and then you connect with each other, you will find a much richer experience is available to you than just, seeking shelter or protection with other people. Like, don't make me feel alone. You have to make me not feel alone. That's crazy, right? So if you have questions or remarks on this video, please let me know. I'm happy to go into it once more. And I will probably come back to this subject more often, because the more time I spent looking at it the couple of last days, the more I realize that it's a very valid point, a very valid question you're asking. And it's one of the essential questions I think most people will run into once they start on this journey to human adulthood. All right, so thanks. Talk to you later.